up next on Good Morning El Paso, remembering Emily. Family and friends say goodbye to the teenage girl shot and killed by her father. Also,
there's no way in the world that he should have been going that fast into the curb.
The latest details on the Amtrak derailment and what we're learning about the man at the controls.
And are charges pending for 2 Las Cruces police officers accused of police brutality? What ABC7 has found out.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC7's Good Morning El Paso.
Well, good morning. Get the hairspray out. It's going to be a very windy day in the borderland today.
How about just a ball cap, right?
Yeah.
This is a live look this morning from our downtown cam on top of the Chase building. Looks pretty nice out there. Doesn't look as ominous as it sounds, but I guess those winds are coming.
Yeah, and those clouds are hanging over too. There is a slight chance of rain today also. A very good morning to you, El Paso, Las Cruces, and Juarez. I'm Stephanie Valle.
And I'm Hillary Floren. Good morning, everyone. Let's get to Crystal Cly right now and talk about just how high those wind gusts are going to be today.
Definitely hairspray or ball cap worthy, because we are talking windy weather as we move into the afternoon, and actually windy weather in the next few days as well. Today, starting off this morning, we're looking on our clouds and radar map. Some cloudiness out there. In fact, it's over pretty much the entire viewing zone that we're tracking those clouds pumping in from the southwest of us, bringing us that upper level moisture and layer of cloud coverage. The clouds will continue throughout today, but that won't stop us from warming up at least a bit more than we've been seeing the last couple days. As for your winds outside right now, we're calm. Las Cruces to El Paso, winds are at 7 miles per hour in Silver City, 3 miles per hour Ruidoso and Guadalupe Pass. That is very light for the pass. Now, these winds light this morning will be shifting to a more windy forecast this afternoon. It's going to look like gusts to 40 miles per hour in some areas. We'll talk about how long the wind gusts will last for coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Crystal, thank you. And we begin with an ABC7 traffic alert over in Northeast. You may want to avoid this intersection where the lights are down. It's at McCombs and Wren, and this happened after a car crashed into a traffic light. It happened around 3:30 this morning. This video is new into our newsroom from our round-the-clock crew. The lights were left in the middle of the intersection. No one was seriously hurt. The driver was still on the scene when our crews arrived. Police have not said if he will be arrested for the crash. Police say the scene will be clear, though, in time for the morning commute, but those lights will still be down. We're learning more about the man at the controls in that Philadelphia Amtrak crash. We now know how fast that train was going when it derailed Monday night. No word on when NTSB investigators will get to talk to the man driving the train. ABC's Lana Zach is in Philadelphia with the latest.
The painstaking process of clearing the tracks in Philadelphia is underway. Cranes lifting and carrying the toppled Amtrak train cars. This morning, just 2 remain, the most heavily damaged. As crews work, we're learning more about what happened and the people involved, including the engineer, identified as 32-year-old Brandon Bastian of Queens, New York.
He remembers going to that area generally, has absolutely no recollection of the incident or anything unusual.
His lawyer told ABC News Bastian suffered injuries, 14 staples in his head and stitches in his leg. He says Bastian spoke to police while he was in the hospital and submitted a blood sample.
He was pretty beat up. What he looked was exhausted.
The NTSB recovered the train's event recorder on Tuesday. Preliminary information shows the train was going 106 miles an hour just seconds before it derailed. The speed limit on the curve here is just 50 miles an hour. Bastian put on the brakes, but it was too late.
In the next 3 or 4 seconds, the speed of the train had only decreased to 102.
At least 7 people are confirmed dead, and some families are still searching for their loved ones.
His life may have been snuffed out, and my grandchildren are brokenhearted, and I'm cried out.
And with people still missing, search and recovery teams are hard at work. They have expanded the search area and are also using dogs to try and find anyone who may have been thrown from the train. Reporting in Philadelphia, Lana Zach, ABC News.
Happening today, a jury will deliberate whether Boston Marathon bomber Dzhokhar Tsarnaev should be put to death or spend life in prison. Of the 30 crimes Tsarnaev was convicted of, 17 of them carry a possible death sentence. Trying to save his life, his defense attorney portrayed him as a good-natured kid who followed his older brother's orders. The prosecution again said there's no evidence to prove that, calling him a terrorist. A spokeswoman for the victims was asked whether the death penalty would be appropriate.
I can't answer that for everybody. I honestly, we haven't talked that much about it. I think it's just a personal thing. It's something that everyone has their own response to.
The judge told jurors none of them are under any obligation to choose death, and they must be unanimous to return a death sentence for Tsarnaev. Remembering Emily Rose Nevada's today, friends and family will say their final goodbye to the 14-year-old. For some, they say it's more of a see you later. The young girl was tragically shot and killed by her own father. Good morning, El Paso's Denise Olivas is live right now with more on this heartbreaking story. Denise?
Good morning, Hillary. 14-year-old Emily Nevades will be brought here to St. Pius Catholic Church later this morning for her funeral mass, and then she will be taken to her final resting place. Emily's services started yesterday here at St. Pius with a rosary, where people we spoke with shared the memories they had of her. Emily tragically died after her father shot her and then turned the gun on himself. Police have not released any type of motive or have not said what may have led up to this shooting. Emily's best friend tells us she was recently in crutches and Emily helped her get around school every single day.
It's just very sad, you know, she was such a young, beautiful girl. I loved her a lot, and just to see her gone, you know, it's very awkward now in my 1st and 8th period classes. I missed her a lot.
Again, her funeral mass will begin this morning at 11 a.m. here at St. Pius Catholic Church, and it will be followed by her burial at Mount Carmel Cemetery. For now, we're live in Central El Paso. Denise Olivas, ABC 7.
Charges could soon be filed against 2 police officers accused of assaulting an inmate in Las Cruces. From our New Mexico mobile newsroom, you may remember this video from earlier this year. It shows Russ Flynn being beaten while inside a holding cell. We're told the DA in Las Cruces, Doña Ana County, could decide in the next 2 weeks whether to file charges. Flynn's skull was cracked around the eye and he had bleeding of the brain. He's suing the Las Cruces Police Department for $12.5 million. An internal investigation by the Las Cruces Police Department is complete, but not available to the public. The criminal investigation was handed over to state police in New Mexico. And also from our New Mexico mobile newsroom, money might be the motive behind a retirement home shooting that left a man dead and his 89-year-old father charged with murder. The shooting happened Monday at the Village at North Rise. Police say 65-year-old Carl Tracy Harland was visiting his father, Carl Frederick Harlan, at the retirement home. According to the statement of facts, a woman who lives there knocked on his door after hearing loud noises, and she walked in to find the son on the floor shot. Documents state Harlan said his son had been stealing money from him. The elder Harlan is charged with first-degree kidnapping and aggravated assault on a police officer.
An El Paso man is facing up to 20 years in prison after he pleads guilty to robbing a bank. Back in February, 28-year-old Fabian Barrios and another man from El Paso, Alan Montes, walked into a bank in Midland, Texas, showed a weapon to the teller and demanded money. Montes also pleaded guilty. Both men will be sentenced in June. We have a traffic alert for you East Siders or those traveling on the east side this morning. Beginning at 7 a.m., so in about an hour, one westbound lane of Montwood Drive between Windrock Drive and Wedgwood will be closed. The closure will allow contractors to make adjustments to a sewer line beneath the street. The lane will be reopened just as soon as those adjustments are done. Be aware if you're heading in that direction.
And now it's time to take a look at our TxDOT traffic cameras over on the west side. I-10 and Wrestler, you can see traffic is starting to pick up as the sky is lightening out there. No problems to report there, and also at I-10 and Executive, where it looks like the on-ramp from the westbound and eastbound getting onto I-10 will still be closed today.
And speaking of I-10, the city wants to make sure it doesn't flood again next time we have one of those big rainstorms.
But that could force some people out of their homes. We'll explain why. Also,
a 10-year-old should never be in charge of a 6-year-old.
One Maryland couple recently made national headlines after they let their kids walk home unsupervised. Now, they say they didn't do anything wrong, but critics strongly disagree. We have that debate on free-range parenting coming up.
And meteorologist Crystal Cly has your detailed forecast. Crystal.
That forecast includes some high winds over the next few days. We'll talk about how high we're going after your break.
Thanks, Crystal. This is ABC 7, where news comes first.